You're going to get your real estate license. You're going to pass your exam, and you're going to flourish in a new, exciting career. But what does that career entail? What opportunities are there? Are you limited to just being a real estate agent? That wasn't really the case for me. When I got my real estate license, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I knew having a real estate license was going to open a whole world of opportunities in a new industry. And luckily I had that foresight. I don't always see the future in many things, but I was pretty good with that. You see, I got my real estate license with this mentality of I'm going to try and sell homes. And maybe I'll be good at it, maybe I won't. But what will happen if I persist and I try hard and I be consistent, I'm going to learn many new things and see many new opportunities that I wasn't aware of before. Because you see, selling a home is just one way to make money in this field. And as I started selling homes, I learned about all the different parts: the title reps, escrow officers, lawyers, appraisers, inspectors, people who sell the marketing materials, people who build templates for websites. The list goes on and on and on. The amount of opportunities there are to make money almost seemed endless to me. It's even more now, because when I started, internet wasn't such a big thing. I may be a little older than you think. Shh. So, when you get your real estate license, keep your eyes open, eyes, ears, even your nose, I don't know, for the different opportunities. Maybe you want to stage properties. Maybe that will be your thing. Maybe you want to provide the marketing materials for the agents. Like I always said, there is money in finding the gold, but there's also money in selling the maps and the forks and the shovels. Frankly, that's why you're talking to me now. I found my path of teaching for the real estate exam and then helping people get their career off their ground in this field. But it all started with getting that real estate license, as that opened the door and showed me all the opportunities. So what I want to do today is go through some opportunities that you may or may not be aware of that you'll see after you get your real estate license and start working in the field a little bit. First is the most obvious. You're going to be a real estate agent. You can sell properties, not sell the property, find the buyer for the properties for sellers who want to sell their house. With that, you're going to learn about marketing, you're going to learn about staging, you're going to learn about selling, you're going to learn about contracts, and you're going to learn about how to be your own boss. Being a real estate agent can be exciting as you are on your own. It can also be scary because you are on your own. But that worked for me and should work for you. My dad always said, don't work for somebody else and make their dreams come true. Strike out on your own and make your own dream come true. And that's what being a real estate agent can do. Lots of commissions and lots of opportunities to make your own schedule and make a pretty good living. The next opportunity is being a commercial real estate agent. When many people get their real estate license, they immediately think of selling homes because that's what's in front of them. Because real estate agents, especially the residential ones, tend to be more visible in the community. So when you think of a real estate agent, you think of somebody in the community at open houses, at social events, at like the local kids' baseball game. You see them a lot, they're door knocking, they're more out in the public. So that's what you think of. But you could also be a commercial real estate agent. You could wear more business formal clothes and be a little more corporate. Now I will say that sales a little bit harder and the things you're selling is a little different, but at the end of the day, you're a salesperson using your real estate license, and the items tend to be a little more big ticket items. And very often you have to look for companies that will hire you. But much like being a real estate agent, you want to talk to them about commissions and trainings and different things of that nature. But I will say being a commercial agent does open up an opportunity to a lot more money. Is that always the case? Absolutely not. But generally speaking, that's true. So if you're a real estate agent and you're just not into the residential thing, doing open houses, and you come from a more corporate environment, or you just like dressing like James Bond a whole lot more, maybe take a look at being a commercial agent and look up some companies in your area and see what that's all about. Next up is a property manager. As you start selling homes, you're going to find people who want to invest in properties and rent them out. You may even start doing that yourself. And you're going to start seeing maintenance issues, finding tenants, and you may find, you know what, this aspect of the business I actually like. I'm pretty good at this. I'm okay at maintaining property. I don't mind dealing with the tenants. I don't mind dealing with their contracts. I'm pretty good at it. And guess what? People will pay you for it. That's what a property manager will do. And that may be your thing. Maybe you aren't good at soliciting individual homes for sale in order to get those big checks. You'd rather have a more consistent check because property managers get paid on a more consistent monthly basis. And you may want to do that. Now keep in mind, depending on your state, the licensing may be a little different for this. So check the license requirements for being a property manager in your state. Some have requirements, some don't. So check that out because it may be a good opportunity for you. Next, I want to jump into the modern era, a social media manager. Now, obviously you could do this without a real estate license. You could manage somebody's account. But the reality is, if I'm a real estate agent and I'm doing a lot of business and I don't know much about social media, or frankly, I just don't care, but I know it's important, I'd rather hire somebody to manage it for me, and I'd rather hire somebody who knows the business, who at least has gotten their hands a little dirty in the business of selling homes, doing open houses, and knows what I'm talking about. You're going to manage your own social media, and if you're really good at it, you'll be surprised how many other agents are like, hey, could you do that for me? 2 turns into 3, 3 turns into 10, 10 turns into 30, and you get my point. Now, like I said, you don't need a real estate license to do that per se, but you have a whole lot more credibility if you're actually in the business, you know what's going on, you're selling some homes yourself, and you start to learn the ins and outs of the business, and you know what these people want. So being a social media manager, managing people's Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, whatever it is they want, has a lot of value these days because there's a lot of very powerful agents who have some extra money to spend, who know the value of social media, but they have zero desire to spend time on it. They'd rather hire somebody who does quality work, check in with them periodically, and move on to what they are good at. This leads me to the next thing, is to be a real estate writer or blogger. There's something to be said for the curious novice. And what I mean by that is everybody touts the expert, but there's also something to be said for people who share what they're learning as they're learning it. As a new agent, you're constantly learning new things. And if you're an excellent writer, then you may want to look into writing a blog or writing other things that share your thoughts and opinions. I know AI is coming, and people say, well, there's not going to be any room for blog anymore because people can just look up AI. They can never replace your personal opinion. So that's going to have value if you have an opinion in your community and you write regularly. Now, obviously, once again, this is having a lot more credibility if you're doing this after you have your real estate license and you're selling and working in the community. But you can make money for this, and there's also people who hire you who will do it for them. So I want you to consider, if you're a good writer, take advantage of the idea of blogging about real estate. And of course, the same theory applies to being a web designer. Do you have programming skills? Well, once you enter the world of real estate and you start selling homes and knowing what you're doing, you will find agents who have zero knowledge about websites or the internet in general. And you can help them by building basic websites or pointing them direction to good templates and helping it set it up for them, whether it's in WordPress or something else. Because a lot of companies offer websites, but a lot of agents prefer to have something that looks unique to them. And you could help provide that. And once again, I know I'm repeating myself, you have a lot more credibility if you're in the business rather than some of the outsides. A lot of outside companies who make websites for agents, but they've never actually been in the business. They've never sat in a company meeting. They've never worked with a buyer. They've never been to an open house. So they don't really have the ability to talk the talk that you will have. So think about being a web designer as much as a social media manager or a blogger. The online world provides a lot of opportunities if you keep your eyes open. Next up is being an assistant. A lot of agents want a personal assistant, especially if they're doing a lot of business. And if you're good at that, then go for it. And you could be an assistant to more than one agent if it's something you're very skilled at. A lot of these big-time agents are good at selling, but they're pretty disorganized. If you have the ability to help them organize and make sure all the papers are filed on time and things are signed, that has a lot of value. Now keep in mind and check what responsibilities they would give you, because certain responsibilities would require a real estate license. Basically, if you're soliciting business for them, or anything that looks like soliciting business, which can get sneaky when that counts as soliciting business, like when you pick up a phone and call somebody, then you might be doing a licensed activity. which also, by the way, is great for you if you have your real estate license. Because what I'm getting at is not everybody could be an assistant to a real estate agent, especially if they want you to talk to the clients. Because if I'm a big time agent, I prefer my assistant has a real estate license, so I don't have to worry about what you're saying or not saying. You're legally allowed to speak freely. Well, if you don't have a real estate license, I have to be very clear on what it is you can and cannot say. So as you have your real estate license, think about maybe I could be an assistant to somebody, and maybe that's just a great career path for you that fits your family, your lifestyle, and your personality. Next up, you could be a real estate developer. Now, this is a big responsibility and big money. You're dealing with permits and other types of things, from buying some land and building it from the ground up. Sounds scary to me, but some people, it's right in their wheelhouse. So if you want to start from A to Z, building a home and building a community and building big buildings or whatever it is you have desire to do as a developer, well, it's best if you start out as a real estate agent and start knowing the lay of the land, no pun intended, and understanding what you could sell, what you can't sell, what works, what doesn't. Being a real estate agent with a real estate license really opens up a lot of knowledge for you that will help you if you decide to pursue being a real estate developer. And also, as a real estate developer, much like when I was talking about being an assistant, if you have your license, you don't need to worry about what you say and what you don't say. So consider keeping your eyes open as a real estate developer. That one may be tough to start right out of the gates, but as your career progresses, if that's your end goal, being a real estate agent's a great place to start. You could also be a real estate investor. This one probably makes the most sense for people who get their real estate license, because as you start selling homes, you're obviously going to see a lot of new opportunities, different income properties that could rent out to create a good return on investment. And what a great way to complement your sales journey, as relying on commissions can be scary. So if you could try and sell to get some nice commissions, but while you're doing that, you have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 coming in for passive income, you got yourself a nice little career. Now you could keep building on that, but how's that going to happen? Well, you could just look for properties on your own, but if you're a real estate agent and you're constantly working with clients, you're obviously going to be exposed to a lot of different things. Your knowledge is going to increase, and you're going to become aware of better opportunities. And frankly, you're just going to become better aware of what is a better opportunity. So before somebody says it's a good opportunity, you may not know it. But as you become a real estate agent and you work more and more in your community, you will have a great depth of knowledge to know where to invest your money. Because remember, you're also helping your clients do the same. So think about being a real estate investor. And last but not least, drumroll please, a real estate educator. Now, you don't have to look like me, sound like me, or be like me, but if you have a knack for teaching and you go by the oath of, well, you can't do teach, no, just kidding, you could do both, then maybe you want to be a real estate trainer or educator. A lot of people have a passion for this. It complements you while you're practicing real estate. Once again, you don't need a real estate license to do this, but you got a whole lot more credibility if you know what you're talking about and you've actually done something in the field that you're teaching. So as you start selling, as you start learning more things, why not complement it by teaching? And these days, there's more opportunity to teach than ever before. When I started, it was all live in the bottom floor of a Holiday Inn basement. Now, with Skype and Zoom and Google Meets and different types of platforms, there's so many different ways where you can lecture and share your knowledge for different types of subjects that can help people get their career off the ground. So if you like teaching or being an educator, complement your real estate journey by also getting out in the community and teaching a little bit. And by the way, this is also great networking, because as you teach more and more, you're going to be in contact with other agents who have similar goals to you, and you guys could do deals in the future, learn off each other, encourage each other, different things. So consider being a real estate educator. So in conclusion, having a real estate license will help you become a real estate agent. But keep your mind open for all the opportunities that exist, because it may be more abundant than you ever realized. I went through a bunch, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Real estate is a hugely vast field with many different opportunities, many different careers, and people with many different goals. So if you keep your ears to the pavement and your eyes open, you may be surprised that you may end up on a fantastic career that you never even knew existed before. So get your real estate license, enjoy the process, and good luck.